Almost time for training camp to kick off for the Cleveland Browns. This quarterback battle that the world will be watching. Shedeur Sanders versus Deshaun Watson, and Todd Monken and the Cleveland Browns put out some exciting news ahead of training camp. We got to get into it. Welcome to Keep the Vision. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the channel, hit that bell notification, and hype the video. That'd be greatly appreciated. As always, let's get right into things. It's courtesy of Sports Illustrated. Okay, this is the Browns released their full training camp schedule. Okay, you got training camp schedule, dates, locations, practices, everything you need to know is here. Okay, it says
nobody saw this coming. Not the Cleveland media, not the national NFL analysts, and definitely not the people who spent an entire offseason trying to bury Shedeur Sanders before he even threw a single pass in camp. Because right now, something is happening in Berea, Ohio that nobody can ignore anymore. A quarterback battle so loaded, so emotional, so historic that it's about to expose everything wrong with how this kid has been treated since day one. But what happened next revealed a double standard so outrageous, even longtime Browns insiders couldn't look away. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly why Shedeur Sanders has this entire league on edge.
There were several points this offseason where, when we did the Shedeur versus Deshaun, people said, I don't care about this conversation, I checked out. In a way that I don't remember people checking out on the quarterback conversation. Last year, that was me with Flacco versus Pickett versus Shedeur versus Dillon Gabriel. I didn't like the way it was handled. I thought it was an asinine way that they tried to do it.
But you still had things to care about and yell about because they were handling it in such a unique way.
And by the way, I think this idea of bringing back Deshaun Watson for a fifth season is also asinine, but at least I can get behind the idea of Shedeur Sanders.
Training camp is here. The Cleveland Browns just dropped their full schedule, and one name is on everybody's mind: Shedeur Sanders. 9 open practices starting July 31st. Every single one, fans are going to be watching one thing. Not the offensive line, not the receivers, the quarterback room. Because this isn't just a training camp battle. This is a referendum on everything the media said about Shedeur Sanders since draft night. And here's where things get crazy. Behind the scenes, insiders on Cleveland sports radio admitted something shocking. They said fans were exhausted. Not exhausted of Shedeur, exhausted of how the story was being handled. One insider called last year's quarterback carousel asinine. Flacco, Pickett, Shedeur, Dillon Gabriel spun around like a game show wheel. That's not even the most shocking part, because that same insider admitted something even bigger. He said bringing Deshaun Watson back for a 5th season, also asinine. But Shedeur Sanders, that's the one storyline he could actually get behind. Now pay attention to this. Here's where the media's argument completely falls apart. For over a year, Shedeur Sanders has been picked apart. Every interview, every fall in the draft, every headline. Meanwhile, Deshaun Watson sits on a contract worth over $230 million, coming off major injuries without the production to justify a starting job. And yet Shedeur is the one who had to prove himself in a 5th-round rookie slot. Think about that for a second. A young quarterback with elite arm talent, championship pedigree, and generational football bloodlines, treated like the underdog, while a quarterback who hasn't been a full-time starter in years still gets the benefit of the doubt. That's not football logic. That's something else entirely. And Browns insiders are finally saying it out loud.
It would be a top story for me in many ways. But yeah, the quarterback stuff is going to reach people. It's just we're at an interesting spot. There's enough people like me and you that hate Deshaun Watson and as a football player and hate what his play stands for, essentially. Way too injured and not good enough when he does play, everything that comes with that. And there's, on the other side of that, enough people that anytime you bring up Shedeur Sanders, they get incredibly bothered by. And so we always tell people, if you don't like it, don't watch. If you don't like it, don't do that. And I wonder if people just start taking that advice.
You worked with, you didn't end up working with Fedor, right?
On air, one host straight up said it. There are people in this league who hate Deshaun Watson as a player, hate what his situation represents. Too injured, not good enough when healthy, everything that comes with it. But flip it around, bring up Shedeur Sanders, and suddenly certain reporters get incredibly bothered. Why? Why does one name generate exhaustion and outrage while the other gets a pass? That's not a football question, that's an agenda question, and it's about to blow up in camp. Here's the part nobody's talking about. Insiders are already predicting where the media spotlight lands this camp. Wide receivers, offensive line, that's where they want the story to go. Why? Because the quarterback conversation exposes too much. It exposes just how badly Shedeur Sanders was disrespected on draft weekend. It exposes just how much pressure the coaching staff is under to justify Watson's roster spot. And it exposes the one thing they don't want to say on live radio. Shedeur Sanders might actually be the best option they have. That's not even the most shocking part, because here's the truth the doubters conveniently leave out. Shedeur Sanders walked into college football and rewrote the record books at 2 different programs. He faced pressure that would break most 20-something-year-olds. National media circus, constant scrutiny, every mistake magnified under a microscope most rookies never experience. And he kept performing. Poise in the pocket, command of an offense, accuracy that NFL evaluators quietly admired even while publicly questioning everything else about him. Now he's got Todd Monken, one of the most respected offensive minds in football, building a system around quarterback development. That's not a small detail. That's a signal, because coaches like Monken don't invest their time and reputation in a quarterback they don't believe can start.
Yeah, just play the damn sound.
In the past, I would sit here and I would get all red-faced and I would match my hand on the table here and I would yell and scream that they can't start that guy, they can't put that guy on the field. If they do, I won't be what. I don't even have to say that anymore, okay? If they start Deshaun Watson week 1, I've already got it lined up with Jimmy Hamlin. I'm going to get really good at golf, and I'm going to give myself until about week 3. Because at that point, I'd expect that either Deshaun Watson will be hurt or he'll be so laughably bad.
And Browns fans, they already feel it. Social media is flooded. We need Shedeur. Boots on the ground for camp. Show up for him because these reporters are going to lie all camp long. Real fans, real energy, real belief. Even skeptical analysts are starting to shift their tone. The sarcasm is fading. The hyperbole jokes about hating to watch Deshaun Watson start are turning into serious conversations about who's actually better for this franchise right now. Because when one radio host jokes about needing scissors just to avoid watching Deshaun Watson start, that's not just comedy, that's a fan base screaming for change. And what happened next left Browns fans stunned. Camp doesn't lie. Practice reps don't lie. Preseason snaps against Chicago, Buffalo, and New England won't lie either. Every excuse, every narrative, every attempt to bury Shedeur Sanders before he's even had a real shot, it's about to be tested in front of the entire football world. And if Todd Monken hands him that opportunity, if Shedeur Sanders takes that first meaningful snap of training camp and starts slinging the ball with the same confidence that made him a household name in college, this entire story flips overnight. Whether you love Shedeur Sanders or you're still skeptical, one thing is becoming impossible to deny. Every single time they tried to write him off, every time they said he wasn't ready, every time the media tried to bury the story, he kept giving people a reason to believe. And that might be the most dangerous thing of all for everyone who bet against him. Because Shedeur Sanders isn't just fighting for a starting job. He's fighting to prove an entire league wrong. And Cleveland is about to find out just how close he already is. If this story means something to you, if you believe in this kid the way millions of fans already do, hit that subscribe button right now. Because when this quarterback battle blows up, you don't want to miss a single second of it. Let's go, Browns fans!